But don't think the narcissists, even though they were working for God, they did not do so willingly. They thought they were destroying us. They thought that they were fighting against God and that they were going to help the kingdom of darkness win. But of course, the devil understands that he's already lost. It's just those people and those demons he gets to follow him. He tricks into thinking they have a chance at winning. Though the devil is well aware that he loses. So do not thank the narcissist. I guess you could sarcastically. But they were trying to destroy you, and they likely would have enjoyed killing you if they had the opportunity and they were allowed to do so. So I'm not telling you to go thank them and try to give them a hug. That's not what I'm saying. I bet they feel a fool after trying to defeat us and hurt God and make God cry. In the end, they are informed that they were working for God and they were doing exactly what God wanted them to do. They were preparing and protecting the chosen ones. They were setting us apart. They were training us to be the warriors that God needs us to be, but they did not do so willingly. They wanted to kill us. They wanted to steal from us. They wanted to destroy us. They cheated on us. They did all of the worst things that you could imagine. They betrayed us. Don't thank them. I mean, I guess you could if you think that it might hurt their feelings. But see, I'm being nice to the narcissist because they're just not that intelligent. The devil fooled them. We can fool them easily. God definitely fooled them. Not even to hurt them. I believe that God was always trying to save them and give them an opportunity to obtain heaven. But they just wouldn't do it. They just chose a different path. And they weren't intelligent enough to realize. They should have listened to God. When God said, I understand that you don't have empathy or compassion, and this isn't literal, I'm summarizing, that they did not have empathy or compassion. And God knew this and gave them many times more chances than normal humans. And that's why in the story of Cain and Abel, we have what I believe is a hybrid, half angel, with some mental deficiencies, unable to fully comprehend things, lacking empathy and compassion and a true connection with God. So, like a psychopath, they would have to logically decide to do the right thing. And so, when the first psychopath ended up killing his brother, the normal punishment would have been reciprocal death, and likely hell. But in this case, God was very lenient and actually marked the hybrid offspring so that no one was allowed to kill him or they'd receive extra punishment. And then he went off to live in the world and was told by God, you just do the right thing and you'll go to heaven. You do the wrong thing, you'll go to hell. And despite this, it was so difficult for them, and they were tricked by the devil, that they still continued to sin. And so, when the whole world was full of these hybrids, thinking of only evil, they were psychopaths, then God had to flood the world. This is where we have the story of Noah. And those spirits did not have a predestined place to go, being neither fully human nor fully angel. They became wandering spirits who could wander around hell, or they could float around the earth looking for bodies to possess. It was really a horrible existence where they had desires that they could not fulfill and would have to go into a body to satiate. This was all because the angels did not listen and had children when they were clearly told not to. There would be severe punishments. But the hybrids did not decide to be created. Their creation was not even of their own doing. They were born psychopaths. And this is just a sad situation when you understand the mentality of these things. The Nephilim that are half angel and half animal are not very intelligent, and they behave and look like cartoons. You can imagine Looney Tunes, Roger Rabbit, that's what they are. And they made these cartoons because they were inspired by what really does exist. I would not have believed it unless I saw it myself. God did allow me to see in the spirit and showed me certain things, made me aware that nobody believes this when you tell them, that these demons are like cartoons. They're like Looney Tunes. They're like Roger Rabbit characters. They're psychopaths. They're tricked and fooled, and they're evil. They know how to romance you. They know how to go out and thrill you and have fun with you. But behind your back, they're plotting your demise. And they believed they were on the winning team. They actually believed, at least in the beginning, that they were doing the right thing and that God actually was wrong. It was wrong that God damned the devil to hell, and that was their father. Their father were fallen angels. So their own parents, these were their parents, the fallen angels that were damned to hell. So of course the children would take their side, and many of them probably truly believed that God was in the wrong. So here we are at the end of the age, and they have one final battle, one final push to come against us saints, and it was all a part of God's plan. And I wonder, because mentally they are severely handicapped, I would like to see something happen to where they don't go to hell. I know that Revelation says the devil is cast into hell for 1,000 years. And then what happens to the demons? Because nothing is specified about them. So I think that they are being judged now too. How they treated us, how they treated the saints, the chosen ones. They will be judged on. But I also believe that perhaps, and this is a possibility, after the devil is cast into hell, and he cannot lie to them anymore and tell them what to do anymore, perhaps they'll finally be able to see clearly what is going on, and they'll be shown what they've done and how they have hurt other created beings. And maybe at that point they'll finally be able to choose to do the right thing. As I said, they're just not very intelligent. And I actually feel bad. And yes, they have really caused a lot of damage in humans' lives over these last 5,000 years. People committed to mental institutions, people murdered, people committing suicide, destroying families. They've done the worst possible things you could imagine. That's absolutely true. But if you come to the perspective that your life on earth is just like walking into a movie theater, it's very short. It's a short blip. And then you go back into your eternal body where you live forever. And when you come at it from that perspective, I do really feel bad for these demons. They were just born into a terrible situation. It wasn't of their own choosing to be created. They were born psychopaths with low IQ and lied to by their own parents that God was the one that was in the wrong. So yes, they are horrible and they did awful things and they've hurt so many humans. But God always intended for this world to be a testing ground. This is not the final destination. So they did also play a role that was deemed necessary for our development and for our test. So I actually would like to see is that they apologize and then they start to do the right thing after the devil is cast into hell, after all the fallen angels are taken care of. I believe then the demons could possibly live in harmony with humans. And if humans could see what it was that was really tormenting them, like a little cartoon squirrel or a little half worm, that was what was hurting their feelings. That really does get rid of a lot of the anger and hatred when you realize that the narcissist was not a human that was cheating with 50 million other people and telling them you were the bad one. What it was a body possessed by hundreds and thousands of demons. And there were different demons. So it wasn't even necessarily the same one that spent time with you. And they were told to go and cause humans to sin every day. So this would be the easiest way to cause humans to sin and disobey God. So they were on a different mission. They were not in a real relationship with you. When you understand what they were doing and who they are, then it's not painful in the same way. When you can see that there are hundreds or thousands of different beings in this body, and it's not just one human that is betraying you, and that their whole mission was to stop you. And also, they don't want to just stop anyone. There was something special about you, which is why you were targeted, or the devil wouldn't waste his time. If you were on the wrong team already, if you were falling into sin, the devil wouldn't bother. The devil goes after those with potential and destroys that potential. The devil goes after people that have strong faith in God. And yes, he is allowed to do so. If you read the Bible, I forget if it's Job or Lot, I always confuse the two. Basically, God pointed this man out to the devil and gave him permission to do everything. And it was part of his test on earth. And it also led to the creation of a book of the Bible. So, what is happening to us is all preordained. And God has used these horrible events for good. And yes, the angels were punished, and I believe the demons will be punished too. But I would like to see something happen to where maybe they don't go to heaven, but they don't have to burn in hell. Because the devil is very intelligent. The devil is even more intelligent than humans. The demons know. They are a hybrid created being, half animal. Its intelligence is below that of someone with severe mental deficiencies. I don't want to say the word. Am I allowed to say retarded? Because when you understand their mental capacity, it would be so easy for them to be fooled and tricked. And yes, they are evil. So, we can be angry with them. We can also be empathetic with them. I don't have sympathy for the devil. I have sympathy for the demons. They have like a 30 IQ or maybe a 50 IQ. It's very low. And their parents are the fallen angels. And their parents told them that God is bad. And they were listening to their parents. And they work like slaves. They work all day and night. And they don't get any rest unless they cause a human to slip into sin. They have a horrible existence, and when they don't do a good enough job, then they're pulled into hell, and they're punished and tortured by the devils. It's a horrible situation. If they don't do a good enough job ruining our lives, that Satan punishes them. And there are rankings, and it's very strict and severe. They don't have the love, empathy, and compassion from their own parents like we might. And I'm not saying we do in every case, because the chosen ones often have a lot of issues there. What I'm saying is that the parents of the demons are devils, are fallen angels, and they are like the worst narcissists you could ever imagine. And that's why they're telling the demons to be narcissists. They're telling them to copy them, which are even greater narcissists. So yes, I do have some sympathy for the demons. And I would like to see a future where maybe we're in heaven and then they're on earth. And then they start their path to enlightenment. And when they choose to do the right thing, then God can gradually improve them, can advance, like give them a greater body and a greater mind and the ability to empathize and care. And then, maybe at some point they can elevate to being similar to us. And then we can be friends in heaven.